When Rachel and I started dating, we were in a long-distance relationship. You know, those pretty hard ones where we don't get to see each other very often? I was based out of Chicago and he was based out of Dubai. So we did this whole exercise trying to figure out where in the world would we live. And eventually we chose Toronto. Now, is my decision to move to Toronto a bit skewed because Rachel is Canadian, or because of TNT, which is pretty much one of the best Asian supermarket there is in North America? Maybe. But there's definitely more to that decision as why I was willing to also give up 30% of my pay and leave behind my life back in Chicago. And here are the reasons why. Hi from Toronto, this is Angie. So before I start, disclaimer, this video is not sponsored by the Canadian government. Trudeau did not reach out to me personally. I also really loved my time in the US. I appreciate all the opportunities that was given to me. I love all of my friends and my supporting network that really helped me transform to who I am today. I will still call Chicago my second home, a city that I've lived for more than 6 years. But it is also damn hard to be an immigrant in the US. So here are the 5 reasons why I left US for Canada. 1. Better immigration process. 2. More diversity. 3. Great job opportunities from the Canadian tech ecosystem. 4. Free healthcare. And 5. Lower crime rate. Now, let's break down each factor one by one. First of all, Canada has a much more open, transparent, and faster immigration process. As my fellow immigrants would know, leaving your home country and going to a new place is very scary and full of risks. Therefore, we really crave the sense of belonging, sense of security and safety. However, when I was living in the US, I was in a lot of fear. Even though I have both a bachelor and master degree from a top university and a job from a top consulting company. However, my fate of whether I could stay or leave is completely out of my hand, but rather determined by a lottery system, which gives me about only a 33% chance. Although in my case, I was the lucky one and I was able to get that lottery, and by the way, a lot of my friends did not have to leave the country. The route to permanent residence is still not easy. I will still need to find a company that is willing to sponsor me, pay the super high legal fee, and wait on average about 6 to 8 years before I can even get my permanent residency. I've heard so many horror stories where people don't enjoy their daily work, but they're also scared to leave because they're worried about them losing their sponsorship to green card. On the contrary, the Canadian immigration process is much easier, it's more open, transparent, and much faster. And more importantly, it is based on merits. So through the Express Entry program, as long as you can get enough points from your education, from your work experience, from the language skills that you have, and a whole bunch of other factors, you will almost be guaranteed an opportunity to apply and to become a permanent resident. And the Canadian government also gives out really sophisticated and comprehensive instructions online. So you could literally read the instruction, download all the forms, fill it all by yourself, complete the application without even having to hire a legal representative. And when it comes to the timeline, typically before the pandemic, I heard it was average about 3 months to now about 6 months to 12 months versus a 6 to 8 year waiting period. The Canadian option is definitely more attractive. It is even easier if you go to school in Canada. You are automatically given a 3-year open work permit, which means you can work for any company after graduation. And no lottery needed. Not only is the process easier, faster, and cheaper, it also takes away so much of that emotional stress that you would otherwise have during the whole process. You can actually see the path forward and plan your life without a lot of those immigration process curveballs thrown at you. Number 2, Canada is actually also more open and celebrates and welcomes diversity. I mean, look at same-sex marriage. Canada legalized same-sex marriage back in 2005, and the US was 10 years behind. And now coming back to immigration, and because of such welcoming immigration policy, it just naturally means that Canada has more diversity. Based on the 2016 census, over 20% of Canadians are actually foreign-born. Also, a 2016 BBC study also declared Toronto as the most diverse city in the world.
But actually, we think the most diverse city on Earth is...
Oh, Canada, our home.
Toronto has a 51% foreign-born population and more than 230 nationalities living there.
So with such great cultural diversity, not only is the food scene amazing, yes, I'm a foodie, so naturally I go there, but also as a new immigrant, it will be so much easier to actually find your own community, find your own roots, your support network, and actually start settling down here. Number 3, the Canadian tech scenes are up and coming, which means it creates a lot of great job opportunities. Yes, it is undeniable that Silicon Valley is probably the global technological innovation center, which is home to many billion-dollar companies and unicorn startups. But Canada is slowly catching up with its great tech ecosystem. There are actually many native Canadian startups that have achieved unicorn status just within the last year. So we have our favorite Wealthsimple, Clearbank, 1Password, Trulioo, Ada, Hopper, just to name a few. In addition, many US companies are also setting up shops in Canada. So among the few, we have DoorDash and Wayfair open their engineering hub in Toronto. Google and Netflix actually also announced their new office location in Toronto. If you think about it, it actually makes total sense why businesses do this. Well, one, there's a lower talent cost in Canada. Second, Canada is still a top tech talent pool, which has many high caliber talents. 3, it's a shared time zone with US. And 4, it has a very similar culture. So the environment is actually set up perfectly for US companies to start expanding into Canada as well. Therefore, it is actually not surprising to see that Toronto is listed as the #1 city for most talents gained based on a recent CBRE report. And because of this, it has also made it easier for us immigrants to not only get a high quality job offer, but also to have a high quality of life and plan out your career here. Number 4, free universal healthcare that is only offered in Canada. I think that we can all agree that the US healthcare system is pretty screwed up and has a lot of issues. I mean, we all heard crazy stories of how medical bills can cost north of hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. And medical bankruptcy is a real thing in the US. On the contrary, healthcare is completely free for Canadians. I mean, it is so good that the add-on benefits from my employment health insurance include things like massage, physio, vision. Last but not least, safer environment. When I was in the US, my parents are constantly worried about my safety. I mean, they would call me whenever they see a mass shooting event on the newspaper, and they would just caution me not to go outside alone at night because they were worried the same thing was going to happen to me. Yes, and I also want to live in a safe environment where I don't have to worry about gun violence. And fundamentally, I think because Canada has a much stricter gun control policy, the crime rate is also 4 to 5 times lower than the US. So yes, I do feel safer living here. Well, here are my top 5 reasons, and plus I get to stay at this beautiful neighborhood that's right on the water and has lots of running and biking trails. And honestly, that's how I got through COVID lockdown. And if you love my video, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and check out my previous videos for very similar content. Until next time, bye!